Alright, here we go. Hey Guacs, and of course Rift Hitters, if any of you are watching. Some of you may not know me, but I sure do know about you guys, and I think it's high time we add a third installment to these tutorial videos here with a quick guide on how to make contact with a ball when you're stepping up to the plate. Now, this video isn't, meant to single anybody out or anything. If you feel like you're a bit of a weaker hitter, you probably know who you are, and I know who you are. So yeah, super casual. We'll just talk about some basic strats that you can apply in your next game, and hopefully you'll feel a little more confident when you've got a job to do right at the plate. So a couple things about me. I think you'll certainly want to listen to some of my proficiencies here. First up, I got this cool hat that I always bring to the game. I don't really watch football, but it's here, so kind of a big leg up on some folks who don't have one. I come from an extensive video backlog making background here, so I've got quite a few feathers in my cap when it comes to creating this type of tutorial-like content. You'll find that my pun game is pretty on point, and if you've ever seen the movie Sky High, you'll know that that's kind of shot on a Dutch angle, so I made sure to put all of my text on that kind of slight incline, making sure that we keep things nice and visually engaging. And, God, let me tell you, oh, boys, it is raining out there. Golf was canceled this morning. I ain't got nothing better to do. We are firing this one up. So, if you'll bear with me here, we're actually going to start with a diagram this time, and what you'll notice is that as a batter, your job actually only consists of standing on this exact spot here on the diamond, or this one if you're some kind of freakish left-handed player. We'll have our teammate pitching to us from here, of course, but ultimately the majority of your time will be spent next to the plate. Of course, if you manage to hit the ball, you'll be tasked with this daunting idea of running from home to first to second, but especially on the run to first, you can just blast right through if you want to take the easy safe. A lot of people maybe get a little nervous or unsure of whether or not you're supposed to go. Just go. Just book it straight to first, run through if you're uncertain, and then once you get more experience, you can start to take the corner, look around a little bit more, and curve around the bases. But generally, you're going to want to start here. You're going to want to blast the ball straight into the outfield. They'll probably, catch it, make the in, but by that time you're already at first, and then they'll get it back here. So this kind of shape here is what we're looking at, if you catch my drift. But if you watch this video all the way through, you'll have no trouble getting on base every time, so I wouldn't worry about any of that yet. Now, the first thing that's going to happen is, of course, the first pitch. And folks, you know as well as I do that from our team at least, this thing could be fucking anywhere from soaring over your head to dribbling across your feet like a tumbleweed. So don't feel like you need to hit the thing every time. It's also important at this point to recognize your role on the bench. So some nice phrases are things like good eye or wait for yours. These really do both help the batter and the pitcher course correct. I'll find that it works every time to really get something better the next time the ball comes sailing over our skulls or something like that. Now, after the first pitch comes what else but the second pitch, of course, and here's where you want to lock in a little bit. Naturally, failing to hit the ball here will result in the opposing team knowing that the next ball will be do or die, so now's a good time to swing as any. You want to keep your mind calm, similar to most sports, and make sure to have your eyes firmly shut as this thing comes whizzing at you at Mach 12, so you don't want to get too frazzled. Recall that swinging too early will result in the ball sailing generally towards third, if you're righty like myself, and too late, it'll actually go closer to first. So if you have to choose, swing too early, but generally one of the other common phrases you hear a lot is wait for yours. That's a great one as well. So again, bench, be sure to be on point with that one. And if ever you make a foul ball, don't worry. As the Guacs, we've got a little cheer to pep you up, so don't even sweat it at all. Either way, though, the odds are that you pop that thing straight into the air anyway, so best bet is to just start hoofing it to first and hope it drops somewhere deep center field. Notably, this is actually where the bat you selected comes into play, and as we all know, bats have a natural half-life about 150 days before they start breaking down at the atomic level, which is why Nelson needs to regularly purchase a new one every season. You'll really want a bat that'll make contact with the ball cleanly and avoid like this wet-sounding thunk on connection. If you hear this sound, you'll know that you've gotten your opponent off stage, and you can pivot to the edge guarding routines that we mentioned in our previous Smash videos. So be sure to grab ledge, neutral B at the right time, that type of stuff. I'm sure you've all heard of that one. Really, the bat does a lot of work here, actually. So your only job is to get a nice wind-up and really focus on the follow-through. Some of you may be even more comfortable choking up on the bat a little bit, right? Getting your hands higher and closer to the center of the bat, where the meaty part of it. This will give you a higher grip and let you twist a bit more. You can really get away with anything as long as you're using the full gamut of rotational power at your disposal. Again, folks on the bench, a nice hearty ooh or a good cut. That's a great one. This would not go amiss here. And now, I'm sure if you guys have the ability to count, you'll know that the third pitch is coming up right after this. And at this point, some of you may consider the technique that our former teammate and loving grandfather Hirsch was occasionally going to angle for, which is the bunt. Sadly, he had to part ways with our organization after a particularly traumatizing event involving a swarm of live bees being secretly planted inside of his rucksack, but I digress. Now, if any of you Cro-Magnons actually listen to Luca for once in your goddamn lives and have read the OSSC rules, you know that bunting is actually illegal, especially at our level, but if you've been conscious at all during any of our games over the past, 6 weeks, you'll also know that sometimes these motherfuckers just hit the pitcher, and nobody knows what on God's green earth to do. It just earns you a free base. Me personally, I wouldn't go for the strat as I don't find it nearly as fulfilling, but know that there's absolutely no shame in making contact, even if it doesn't go as far as you'd like it to. We all know that some teams, they just bunt anyway, so if you can't beat them with hammers. Now, we can close this out a little bit by talking about base running. The short answer here is always run, unfortunately. We thrive on disrespect here on the Holy Guacamole, so as soon as any ball goes in the air, I want you pumping those stubby little legs of yours to the next base in your field of vision. On rare occasions, if you see an opportunity and you think you can get away with it, you can actually run from first straight to third, which circumvents the need to take the long way around, the circuitous route of second. It saves you both time and energy, just a quick tip from me. Now, be careful on those fly balls that I mentioned in the event that you're not sure if the opposing team will make the catch. You can take a few steps off the bag. This is called not leading off, but as soon as the ball connects, you can start going. And if the thing drops, start booking it. Otherwise, scurry back to your little safe square. Of course, if you're ever on third, even if the catch is made, you have a very real chance of making it home. So feel free to just sit on that base until the ball is out of the air, and then beeline straight for the plate as soon as you do. Usually, teams like to stick their worst players in catcher, which is why Marcus always seems to find his way back there. So, generally speaking, even if they do have the wherewithal to throw it to home, they might not even make the catch, and we can just get a free point. So, yeah, that's about it from me here. Remember to be like Warren, if you guys remember that guy. So you want to breathe and blink at the same time. Get your feet a little wider than you might think. And raise that bat, get your elbow up as well. That'll give you the most thrust and least amount of drag before takeoff. If you keep these tips in mind, you'll join me in the echelon of guys who can hit homers in no time. And be sure to whip the bat into the enemy dugout after you connect. There aren't any umps in our league, so there's really nothing stopping us from just killing them and then picking through their vehicles after the game for scrap metal. Okay, hey, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the diamond.